Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Conscious Conversations with Daren and Alexandria. And hope you're all doing well. Hope you got a chance to check out the other episodes thus far. And we're just going to get right into it. Again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and hit that notification bell. And how are you, Alexandria, by the way?
I'm fabulous. I'm feeling just wonderful today. It's a bright sunny day here. Haven't seen the sun for a little while, so it feels really good. I'll be getting out in it shortly.
Yeah, that's same here, same here. I'm definitely enjoying the sunshine and nature, and yeah, it's another important thing on my list to get more of. So yeah,
Nice.
and that brings us to intuition, you know, how nature helps us to connect more to the intuition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know you wanted to touch on some things or some aspects of intuition.
Yeah, I did because where I left it, and those of you who might, if you haven't seen it yet, I had been talking about what happens when you listen to your intuition, which helped me avoid being part of a 40 car pileup on the 401. And then the following week, I talked about, or where I shared where I had kind of overrode my intuition, and I had an experience where I was at a restaurant, my coat caught fire, had to be physically put out. It was like my collar length, or collar height, and and then I had a bad experience with the meal and had it like almost like food poisoning from or just I think food sensitivity was what it was. But anyway, how I did reach out to the restaurant afterwards, so to connect with the owners, and they were really appreciative that we had taken the time to do that also. I didn't want to leave viewers thinking that we are sort of, I mean, we are still free will beings, and it's not like, our higher selves are not like a crystal ball. And in fact, they might have used that terminology before and said, like, we're not your crystal ball, like we're not, like really, we're here to guide and assist, but not to live your life for you. And not like I wouldn't want anybody feeling, paralyzed with fear without, oh, I'm not sure if this is a total yes, or should I do it? Or, that can be so immobilizing. So I just wanted to say that, we are free will beings, and we're attracting things, we're matching up to things that are our vibrational match, that match our vibrational frequency, which we have full control of. So I just wanted to share a little bit because I'd mentioned in the last that I was going to go and channel my team, and I did. I called them the angelic celestials, and although they've made it clear they don't care what they're called as long as they're called. They like to be, consulted. They're like, call us whatever you want. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what they had said. Um, so um, so make sure this is what, oops, sorry. Okay. All right. So they're saying, good morning, beloved. And you interpret this, kind of reflecting back like what I just did. You interpret this as evidence that by not listening to your intuition, that not listening to your intuition can lead to disaster of varying degrees. And while we certainly do advocate paying attention to your inner knowing, um, which, yes, is working alongside your higher self and your guides to steer you out of harm's way. We would not want this to be yet another thing that you can use as evidence that you are lacking in trust or good judgment, or anything else that your more critical self may present to you. Like attracts like, our darling. Things come because they are a vibrational match. We postulate that if you had taken the time to adjust your vibration along with curling your hair and applying makeup, the results could have been much different again. Your reluctance to go, combined with the reluctance and, yes, a small amount of resentment at feeling you had to please your partner, why you had preferred to stay home, significantly impacted the vibrational frequency you were emitting. Your intuition was based on that, going while not wanting to, feeling it was beyond your control because you had wished to please your partner, which may seem virtuous, but you are correct, was inspired by old patterns of behavior from previous relationships. So to summarize, you have free will. You are not a puppet on a string, nor do you need permission from your intuition crystal ball. Um, but the golden nugget in this beautiful example is how powerful you truly are, is to be mindful of your vibration. And if you choose to do a thing or attend an event, strive to do it from a place of feeling clear and positive, taking any inspired precautions, like my case, asking about the ingredients of food before going ahead and eating it, visualizing a positive, uplifting experience. And that was basically all they had to say on that.
You know, it's so interesting that you are saying that, because that's very similar to what I was getting today when I channeled. It was so well, I mean, I could read, it's like a small paragraph. Uh we see you, we see all of you, we see how so many of you want this clarity, want the deep connection. This is what you all have waited for. And because you're practicing and strengthening that intuitive muscle, it's happening. You're getting stronger. Got, excuse me, stronger guidance. You're gaining more knowing. And we are so happy, just as you all have been waiting to connect for so long, so have we. And because so many of you are doing this and are making sure to do it every day, making sure you're creating a sacred practice around it, the muscle is building. And you also are strengthening it for humanity, for the collective, making it part of the norm. That is why you're seeing so many others around you doing it as well, because you're doing it and everyone else is a reflection of you. So that's kind of like the basis. I'm not going to read the rest of it. I mean, but you know, it's really interesting to see what's happening and see the changes that are happening and the connections that we're all making. And um we're building that connection with the intuition, you know, especially every time we do this, every time we channel, every time we connect, you know, and we trust the messages we're receiving, you know. uh I don't know, it's so beautiful to me, you know.
And I feel like our inner witness and is taking note of all of this as well, that, oh, wow, they're lighting a candle, or they're letting, bringing a certain crystal into the area while they do this, like they're bringing in breath and they're bringing intention. It shows that we're taking it seriously, and our inner witness sees this, and then it starts to take it seriously. So even our egos are going to be like, oh, okay, so this is different. This is new.
Oh yeah.
This is
Yeah.
more weight, more importance we're bringing to this, and it's definitely, as you say, strengthening that muscle and encouraging more of that. And the more we pay attention, and the more we listen and learn and follow through.
I don't know about you, but like I feel like for me and so many other people that I've come in contact with that I guess have lived through the era that I lived through and you did, were kind of very similar in generations. And so many other people that I've come across that I've been channeling with and things like that. And I think that a lot of us growing up when we did, our intention, one of the biggest intentions I think is clarity that we've asked for. Because I feel, I don't know about you, but that's one
Yeah.
of the biggest things that was for me growing up, because I didn't have that. I didn't have a clear road ahead or any sort of clarity whatsoever in my journey,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
because
I
I
know
had
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
because of the disconnection with the intuition, you know, because of the suppressing, because like you were taught to like go outside of you to get the answers, you know, or go to that doctor or that person or that family member that has the answer, but you don't have the answer, you know. So we kind
Yeah.
of like warded off that, you know. And so a lot of us are having to strengthen that muscle and continuously do it to build the trust and everything, you know. And so it's really interesting, you know. And I feel like the year of 2024 is clarity for so many of us.
That's amazing because it's also a time when there's so many different views being, we're really kind of being bombarded with other people's views, and they vary so much. And it's really hard to know what's true when, when you can't necessarily trust your legacy news source, or like, not to get all political or anything, but that's true. When you can't turn on the news and trust that it's true, then where does that leave? It's
Yes,
like you
yes,
kind of go
yes.
through all that. Well, like who knows this stuff? All these sources that we believed in, or that as a symbol, as the institutions are crumbling because they need to be replaced by something new and improved and much, and something that is more for the people, then the more that's being shown to us, the less trust we have in those same institutions, that things we used to maybe having a lot of faith in, and now we just like, okay, if I can't trust that, then where do I trust? And that's where you trust yourself.
And it's forcing us to trust us, exactly. And
Uh-huh.
my dad, he used to tell me all the time, and he was amazing. And I have nothing. It was his journey, but he definitely. I learned from him that, oh yeah, let me ask this person and this person and this person before
Yeah,
I then. And I'm like, but you know what? It's best for me to get an opinion from all these different people and then make my own decision. I'm not hating on what he did, but I completely went away from trusting myself. I just like asked a million different people
yeah,
what their opinion was, and then came to a conclusion after that. And it didn't require me to strengthen the intuitive muscle or my muscle. It continuously made me go outside of myself, you know?
yeah. And I think
So
for so many people, exactly the same. And
yeah,
it's do your due diligence, but that's again harder when you can't really, how do you know which source is giving you the correct information?
exactly.
Or is it just the slant that they want you to, like, so it gets really tricky.
True too, true too. And you don't even know your own identity or what you like or what you don't like, or because you're like listening to everybody else, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that the society that a lot of us grew up in, that's what we grew up in. And going to like the doctor, going to their God, they're like put them on a pedestal, put everybody else but ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it really caused us to weaken the intuitive muscle, so to speak.
Yeah, 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 significantly. And so I agree that they say it's the year of the channel, the year of
Yeah,
clarity. I've
yeah,
heard it's the year of self-love, when people are finally coming back to that place of loving themselves rather than having just this disdain that, again, it's been something programmed into, especially looking at the magazines and stuff like that and advertisements, everything is pointing out what's wrong with you, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you really have to turn away from that. Sorry, pardon me.
No, it's totally. And you're right. By us being shown all these outlets that we would, mainstream outlets, whatever the case may be, that we were listening to, or just the things that we've been listening to outside of us, we're finding that they're not. We're like, whoa, wait a minute, like that's not. I don't trust the information coming from that source or from that person. Or so it's like forcing us to go within more
Yeah.
and more. Like you're like, oh my God, if I can't trust any of these sources that I used to trust, what do I do? So it's like then you're forced to discover with yourself and within you. And that's
Yeah.
what I feel like it's been happening for the last few years. And now we're getting pushed even harder into that.
And we do have support all around us. We have our spiritual support team. We have
Yes.
our angels. We have our higher self. And I think taking the time to do things like meditate and journal and walking in nature. I mean, that's that's the same as like, oops, sorry.
You're right. You're totally right. Because nature too, it's like it's the biggest way to deepen your connection, I feel like.
Yeah, but the point I was going to make, sorry for the interruption, but the point I was going to make there, that was like, we know to look after our physical body requires, that we move our body in usually ways that please us, but we have to work our heart and lungs, we need to work our muscles, and it's the same with our spiritual self, that we need to work that as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and those are simple ways, just sitting and breathing. Like, it's not going to be like you don't have to go take a 5 mile hike in the woods, but even just to sit and breathe. If you can breathe in the sunshine, all the better. You know, just sit and breathe and just let yourself fill up with all that beautiful energy. You know, that's how we look after our spiritual selves, and just taking the time to focus some love to ourselves, which is so
Yeah.
important too. And
Yeah.
so I love that we've been talking about how we are like extensions of whatever you may believe God to be. You are that. So, and if that is the case, then why would you not love that? You
Mm-hmm.
know, like, why would you not say like, well, yeah, okay, if I'm also divine, then if I'm a little droplet of divinity, actually it's like the whole thing is in that one droplet. The whole hologram, right, is in that droplet, and this is a holographic universe. And so why not love that aspect of yourself? Like, just
Exactly.
try as much as you can. And sometimes people will talk about your inner child, and like having a cute photo of yourself as a child that you can focus on when you're trying to show some love to that little person who was told to be seen and not heard, and whatever was going on in the world when you were little. We internalize all that stuff, and we're like little sponges. So I feel like that little person is still there and still needs the love. Like, you know, everything we've been all along our journey up to now is still there. So maybe you felt like you need more love as a teenager. So you can call up your inner teenager and give it lots of love, or, whatever age you were, where you felt like, maybe you started shutting down against yourself. Because that's a really big piece too. Or you're not going to really, give yourself into all these other processes if you don't feel that degree of self-love for yourself. And just a little, just a aside, I do on my website, actually, I do have an ebook, it's called Abundant Happiness in 30 Days, but it's basically teaching you to love yourself, or showing you different methods of loving yourself more. It's a free download if anybody wanted to go and get their free gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
We
sure you
have.
have something on your website as well to,
Yeah. We have.
um,
We have. Your link to your website in the description. So, yeah. So definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Just go into the description of the video, and all the information's under the video. So,
Yeah, so if it's something that you're struggling with, like maybe you're coming from a place where, no, I'm feeling pretty good and I'm actually helping other people. And that's the extension of this, is like we get to this place where we're feeling pretty good about these things. Now we look around and there's still so many people struggling. So that's where you can share, like, okay, this worked for me. This is how I did this, like and extend it. And because the more you're helping others, giving others a leg up, you're raising the collective consciousness for everybody,
yeah.
including ourselves. So it really, really worth doing.
That's the biggest thing that I got today in the channeled message as well, is how much of an impact we're making by making the changes within ourselves, and how that is changing the world. And that's the thing that I feel like is such a misconception, because everyone just thinks that you have to go out and you have to, like, picket, or you know or do like these physical things, but like it really is. I'm not going to say simple for everyone, but it's simple to say that all you have to do is do the work for you, that you want to see the change. And all you have to do is do the work that you want to see in the world change within
Yeah.
yourself. If I said that correctly, I think I might have jumbled it up a little bit, but
Yeah, no, what I get what you mean. Like, be the change you want to see in the
yeah,
world,
yeah,
and also by changing your world. Like, if you feel like you're kind of plagued with problems, you can, you don't need to fix all these individual problems. You need to fix your vibration.
yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
you just need to raise your vibration, and the problems fix themselves.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm really seeing some beautiful. I'm part of a collective in it. a neighboring town here, and they're looking at different ways of contributing to the community and also creating more community, and talking about things like homeschooling, like using part of the center of this building as a homeschool, and like a kitchen where kids can learn to cook, and even adults
Mm.
learn how to prepare healthy meals, and
Oh,
just
that's
stuff like
awesome.
that, like not a government-based anything, but just people coming together, donating their time, contributing their time and energy for the betterment of all. And I just think that's such a beautiful idea. Like and it is taking root. The other thing we kind of was observed that we're seeing like little group, little factions doing these things, but they need to kind of come together a little bit more, and you know, rather than everybody reinventing the wheel, like what else is happening, and and within so much of a radius, and connecting with other centers and saying, do you want to join with us? And
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I I understand it more now on a deeper level, in a sense that everybody always will point the finger, but then they don't change themselves and view what they're doing and how they're making an impact, because at the end of the day we all played a part in all of this, whether it was in this lifetime or a previous lifetime or whatever. We all played a role in where we are currently. And at the end of the day, it all starts with us. And
yeah,
the more that we notice it and we make those changes ourselves, like for example, if we want more peace, then we have to find the peace within ourselves
yeah.
to find that peace outside of us, and um I know you know this, and but yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's that simple, really.
And just it's like a few deep breaths, like,
Yeah, yeah,
with both of
yeah,
us have been practicing this, and just
yes.
taking the 3 deep breaths and dropping down into your heart center. And by the, like by, these are very conscious breaths. And then you drop in and it's like, okay, so what do I want? Do I want, more peace? Do I want more love? Do I want more fun? Whatever. Or just simply what do I want to see from my world? What kind of
Yep.
world do I want to live in? And
Yeah.
then just visualize that. Like really, really visualizing it, like seeing people happy, and happy animals, and, thriving communities. And, it's like, if you look, there is good news happening too. Like we
Oh,
just
thousand
saw.
percent.
Oh, it's crazy. I just saw there was a news article, and I don't read the news, but my partner shared this with me, and he said they were providing housing, but they figured out, like, they had some crown land, and they were, you know, building like modular homes, like for single dwellers, or like 1 bedroom homes, but like going for like 200 grand. It's like, right now that's unheard of,
Yeah.
but I mean, it wasn't that long ago that that was the norm, but that puts it sort of back within reach of people. And it's like, it can be done. We build them here, we bring it there, we set it up, and now you got a place of your own, instead of just like living in mommy and daddy's basement forever. Or, which is what I'm sure there's lots of parents out there heaving a huge sigh of relief when they, in my local area, kind of, let's help them with the down payment, get them out of our house and onto their own lives. But yeah, so I mean, but I thought that was just a genius idea, and I couldn't believe like the city got right behind it and said, yeah, use this land. I mean, it benefits them too. It's a win-win. And
Wow.
I feel like I'm seeing more and more win-wins are happening, and I
I
just
totally agree with you. And
exciting.
it's like just being a part of this group that we're in with the channeling and reading the messages that are coming through that people are channeling. They're all across the board so similar, like excitement, joy, all these different things, that it just shows where the consciousness is headed and is going. And um that just lights me up, and it just, I yeah, I have no words how, I mean, but going back to one thing that you mentioned, it's like finding these little things, like you said, finding the breath, finding these things that will bring you peace within,
Yeah.
that will then amplify the peace across the world, and so it's like you have to take these little tiny steps, like taking 3 deep breaths, and maybe
Yeah.
doing it throughout the day, or like you said, meditating, maybe doing a quick meditation or something like that that will
Five
bring you to,
minutes, set your timer for 5 minutes. And
yeah,
even talk about like, you don't have to necessarily think about what do you want for the world. You can just kind of drop down into your heart, like
yeah,
you're gonna put your hand there and think about your pet or think about your baby or your partner or your anything that fills your heart with love and just sit and feel love for 5 minutes. That's pretty nice way to spend some time in your day. And it's just so impactful because you're still, whatever you're feeling is your energetic gift to the world in any given moment. So I mean, so that's a real, so it's like, are you adding, so if you visualize scales, the positive versus the negative in the world, do you want to be contributing more positive or negative?
yep,
So even if you're being righteously angry about something that's going on, you're still contributing to the negative. So
hmm,
what if you kind of flip that? It's like, okay, that's what I don't want. What do I want? And then the good is going to outweigh, you want your all your thoughts to be on the positive. So I just find that really helpful. It really turns you around really quickly. Like, this is what I don't want, then what do I want? And then you just muster, because the positive feelings are so much more powerful than the negative ones
hmm,
anyway. So I
hmm,
know a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to have that thought because law of attraction says, but I feel like we're all also moving beyond that,
yeah, yeah,
beyond attracting to like creating. So what are you creating? What do you want to create more of? And that also helps with the self-love when you realize that, okay, I can create my reality. So what do I want? Like what, and if I'm that powerful, isn't that something that's pretty awesome? And that I can really get behind, you know what I mean? Just
I
to kind of amp your own self-worth.
I totally agree with you 1000%. And it's like what I've been, yeah, been saying that for a while. It's like we we now know right away, you feel it in your body and you're like, no, I don't like this. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so the opposite of not wanting that is wanting that, wanting the other thing that's the opposite of that. So it's just
Yeah,
like,
and that's your intuition too.
yes,
The not
exactly.
liking it. The feeling is like, I don't like that. It's like, okay, you're feeling it in your
Yes.
body. Your higher self is communicating with you. You recognize you don't want that. So that shows how much people, even if they think that they're not in communication with their higher selves, they really are. If they can
Oh
even
yeah.
just use something that simple as like, oh, that's evidence that I actually am,
Yep.
you know, because it's not my thinking mind, necessarily. It's like, it's the feeling. So if you're getting a feeling in your body, that's different from what do I think about this,
Hmm, hmm.
So just having that feeling is like, okay, well, let's shift the thinking. What's the higher perspective I can take on this particular subject that's going to make me feel good? Because then I know that I'm contributing to the overall well-being of the planet and all the people on it and all the creatures on it, not to the destructive side. Even if you're seeing sort of evidence of that there's bad things, but really we can't judge what's good, what's bad, because even the things that we would think of as really, really bad are having really positive results because they're snapping people out of this sleepwalkingness
Yeah,
that so
yeah.
many people are, and most people are coming around. They're waking up and they're
Oh
like,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I mean, yeah, I feel the same way, and I feel like we're given more and more when we trust more and more. Our higher self is just going to keep giving us more. Our intuition, our, it's going to get louder and louder, where the clarity begins to settle in. And it becomes more clear. Because I remember probably 15 years ago, longer than that, I would have a deep knowing deep down, but like I couldn't like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like at a point where I knew, but then it was like I had that deep knowing, but the deep knowing was so unclear. It was so
Yeah.
confusing to like understand what it's trying to tell me, and like the gut feeling or whatever. Like I could see visions, I could see visualizations of it, but like it wasn't clear. It was so unclear and confusing. And I went on with that for so many years before now. I'm it's like so much clearer. And I noticed that by the work that I've been putting in, and trusting more and believing more in myself and the self-love and all of it, um and because I'm experiencing that, I feel like all of us are. I feel like as a
Yeah.
collective, it's getting stronger.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's so amazing. I just have no yeah, I just so beautiful. Like just your examples in the last episode um
Thanks.
sticks with me because I'm like, oh my God, like it's so crazy that that 40 car pileup that she was being shown that and she got shown it after the fact to then solidify the fact that, oh, wait a minute, if you didn't do what you did, you could have been in this, you could have had this
Yeah.
result.
And when I look back at that particular instance, it would have been really easy to ignore it because I was like, well, but I'm the, managing editor and I have to have this done. And I was on a timeline. But it was also like, now I have to, as a woman, go and tell this man who's sort of my, like, he was a photographer, but I was sort of, he was like my staff basically too, so but to tell someone else that, oh, because I'm having this feeling, we're just not gonna do this thing that I just said yes we're gonna do, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can have a look and kind of go, oh, that could be a little, hairy for a lot of people to try to do that. But as I said in that episode, that yeah, I'm just grateful that we knew each other well enough and we gotten to know each other, enough that that was completely comfortable for me, because I would have anyways, but it would just, I would have been like, oh, that was embarrassing, or, but it what really wasn't. It was just like, not doing it,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
worked out an alternate thing. But yeah, so that kind of thing might come up for people, and you might have to do, the old baby steps thing. You might have to kind of like, okay, I really think it's, or back it up with like, we don't know when this is happening, this snowstorm or whatever, but maybe we should just rethink it anyway, like,
Hmm.
kind of thing. Like there's ways around it. You don't have to tell people that you're listening to your higher self or whatever. You can just say like, the more I think about this, it doesn't seem like such a good idea. They don't have to know, you don't have to put yourself in that position of, you know like, for example, when I studied Reiki, was first was like, I'm a Reiki master. I'm a teaching master, and I got my credentials, my training and attunement, like 25 years ago. And so back in that day, Reiki, people didn't understand what Reiki was, and even energy healing, like, what's that? Like,
Yeah.
then you're into a whole, so my teacher would just say, just tell them it's just an ancient, it's a form of relaxation. It's an ancient form of guided relaxation. And, then if they're still interested, then you can say, well, it can involve hands-on healing or hands not on. There's different ways of approaching it without jumping right into, and having people go, wow, she's, you know what I mean? So, you don't have to reveal everything. It depends who you're talking to, like, and how, if they're going to be respond to it, or if they're just going to shut down. You don't, but you can present things in ways without kind of going out on a limb,
Hmm.
because I know that can be a real thing for people too. Like, people don't necessarily want to be seen as completely different from everybody else in their little group
Yeah.
or whatever. So that can be a tough place, because as you do get into this more, friendships can fall away, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
a good thing, because it makes room for ones that you're more in alignment with. But they can still be, challenging to let go of some relationships, because people just like, they're just not where you are. They're not at that level of uh, consciousness. And that sounds sort of judgy too, but I just mean that they're not open and receptive to that yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
maybe it'll happen, and maybe it'll happen next life,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that that is a big part of what's happening to a lot of us currently, and what has been happening. So, the
But
alignment.
nobody gets left behind. That's the
No,
thing.
no,
And I feel
exactly.
like when people are like, well, what if my parents never get it? And then they're
Yeah,
gonna, well, they will. Everybody, when they transition, will get it. like,
Yeah.
so it's just a matter, is it going to be while you're walking around right now? And even like older people, I know people like my age whose parents are just coming around to, like, who are like 80 and all of a sudden going, hey, you know what I just realized, and all of a sudden they're becoming like this spiritual, intuitive, person. And whereas before they might have rejected anything to do with that at all, so it's coming. People are just, they come to it when
I
you're,
totally agree. I'm noticing it all over the place. I mean, it's like that's what's got me like, wow, it's finally actually happening, and people are starting to really embrace their spirituality and the connection
yeah,
and the connection to the other side and the unknown. And yeah, it's such a magnificent time to be alive. Like
it
I
is. It's really exciting.
we've heard it so many times, but how do you feel where we're at with this one?
Pardon? What do you mean?
Oh, no, just like, do you want to say anything further or?
Well, I thought I would offer a channeling when we get if it's about time to do that.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
done a couple of
probably.
meditations now, so I thought I try, like, I do want to channel, and just to maybe give people a little bit of a taste of that who aren't experienced, or at least what, a little bit of a taste of it with me, just so they can see.
Yeah, and then the next episode we both can do it. We're kind of
Sure.
running short on time today, so
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, go, yeah, definitely do that. That would be great.
So I'm just gonna set my timer then for 10 minutes, and then we can just close when I come back, and that should, so if everybody watching would like to just to prepare, just kind of plug in, feel your feet flat on the ground, plugging into the earth energy. Just feel yourself really plugging in. And we're going to do those 3 deep breaths that we talked about and drop down into your heart center. Then I'm just going to close my eyes and start to channel. And I've been doing it for quite a while now. So that's what all the preparation that it requires. So I'll just invite you all to close your eyes and right now and take a deep breath in for a count of 3 and hold and let it go. And breathe in and hold and exhale. One more deep breath in and hold and exhale. So just dropping down into your heart center, and I'm going to call on my team. And I'm asking for a message for everyone listening. It's not going to be a personal one. Oh, hello, our darlings. We are so happy to be here with all of you on this beautiful and glorious day. Oh, it always is such a glorious day when we come together as one, all who are listening, whether that is in the future or in the present moment with you now. All this love is radiating out. You are shifting the cosmic vibration. You are raising the frequency. And when we say this glorious day, we wish to bring your attention to the fact that the root word is abundance, means abundance. Galore. The word galore means abundance. So when you think of it being a glorious day, it is an abundant day. So we would ask you to ask yourself, what do you wish to be abundant in this glorious day? What do you wish to manifest more of for yourself and your beloved human family and your beloved animals and plant kingdom and mineral kingdom and this beautiful planet that you live on? What do you wish to manifest more of? And this you can create for yourself in this beautiful heart center of yours. See yourself in this space and visualize your world as you wish it to be. See the water running clear and pure. See the skies, beautiful, beautiful and clear. The animals roaming once again where they will. And there's a respect between the animals and the humans. And as one ceases to interfere with the other, as humans are not so interfering with the animals, the balance will return quite readily. A number of you saw during the lockdowns in recent years, you saw a resurgence in the animals. You saw pollution begin to clear away. You saw smog dissipate. There were mountains seen in Japan that hadn't been seen in decades, suddenly could be seen again. And this can happen again, and it can be as you all are wishing it to be as you hold that intention. One thing you must realize is when you are visualizing, you are not idly daydreaming, you're creating in your mind's eye, your third eye chakra, your imagination, which, as the greats who have walked before you have told you, is not just a nothing thing. It is not just about sleeping and dreaming. It is not just about daydreaming, frittering away time. Albert Einstein said, your imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attractions. Tesla, that brilliant man, another brilliant man, encouraged you to use your holographic field that is your imagination to create new and wonderful things that you will all benefit from. All of you, each of you. You don't have to be inventors to be creating. Just simply sinking into your heart center and visualizing a happy you, visualizing yourself happy, thinking of your loved ones being happy and how that makes you feel. And then extend that wish that the people they each care about be happy, and the people they each care about be happy. And you can see then how this will have a rippling effect. Even as we speak, those of you who are participating in this like a mini meditation along with us, know that all this love is emanating out from you and is impacting everything it touches. It is raising the collective consciousness, which is what you are here to do. That is why you came. That is your mission. That is what you signed on for, to put it in those terms. It was your great joy to come down and to do this. And even though things may be a little different than what you had anticipated, maybe a little more challenging than what you thought it might be, maybe even the waking up process has been a little more challenging than you think you would have created for yourself ahead of time. But it is not about that. It is about being here in real time, coming to that place where we know the truth and helping others find it for themselves, not by going and knocking on doors and handing out pamphlets, but by being that within ourselves, leading with love, leading by example of love. This is how you change the world. One person at a time, and that person is the one you see in the mirror every day. That is the person you're here to change. And then through the growth that you are experiencing, you're tipping the scales in favor of the light. You are here as way showers, light bringers, all of you listening to this. And so we simply would encourage you to take more time for yourself to do this on a daily basis. Short little sections, little segments of time, 5 minutes in the morning, maybe 5 minutes again before bed, just to come to this place of love and feel how good that is and let it radiate out. We feel this is the most important message and the core message to offer you. And know that you are not alone. You each have your team who are working with you, your higher selves, your guides, your angels, your many angels are here for you. You are not alone. And the truer you are to yourself, the more you are going to draw others of a like mind to you. You will be creating your own community, whether it be an online community or an in-person one, a community of that all around the globe. Doesn't mean you have to be in close proximity. But the more true you are to yourself, the more recognizable your vibrational calling card will be. And the more people will resonate and will come. They will heed the call. And there will be a coming together. So see all the people everywhere rejoicing and celebrating, and the animals, and this beautiful planet as you all collectively ascend into the 5D, into the new earth. Yes. If you feel this is enough today, we would encourage you to listen back to what was just said. We thank you all for listening and for your willingness to share your bright lights around the world. And we love you. We love you so much, and we are always with you. And for now, we are complete, and we say namaste.
Namaste. Wow. Wow, I went like deep to another place.
I can't wait to listen back.
Yeah. I went, you probably see it in the video when you watch the video of the episode. Like I went deep.
It's wonderful.
I have to listen back myself because I went somewhere else. I definitely transported somewhere else. My body was like the energies were intense. I don't know. Let me use a different word. Like
Oh, it's 1:11. It's 1:11. I just
uh,
wanted to turn off my timer so it didn't go.
they are it was very high frequency energy because I noticed I was teleported or transported somewhere, but then my body was like moving, like different parts, like my foot was shaking, like not
Oh,
shaking
wow.
like nervously, but jerking, like when you
Yeah.
like when you're
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
energy, when you're moving energy through your body and stuff, like with Reiki and stuff, that's what was happening. I could I that I picked up on different points when I came back. Then my leg kept moving on its own, and my other leg was moving, and there was a lot of energy in this transmission that you did. So
Oh, wonderful.
thank
Oh,
you.
oh, you're
It was
welcome.
awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to explore this more in further episodes. I'll do some channeling. You'll do some channeling, maybe in the next one.
Yeah,
We'll
I
both
think
do
that's a
something.
great idea
Yeah,
because like we talk about this supporting team. Well, why not let them be a part of these
yeah,
podcasts?
exactly.
They
So
want to be heard. They're
yeah,
guiding us.
yeah,
We always start off with like just intending that the best information come forth for the betterment of all. And so they're clearly here to do that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. This was powerful. And yeah, I had a blast as always. And we're gonna list both of our information in the descriptions, and we're gonna get this all figured out, the technical aspects that we experienced in the first episodes. So yeah, I had a lot of fun and a lot of
Oh, good,
wealth of
wonderful. I did
information.
too. I
Yeah,
did
and
too. This is just it's wonderful. I'm really
yeah,
really enjoying this, and
yeah,
again, if people want to, if there's anything in particular you'd like us to speak of, I know we've been kind of talking about intuition for like for three now, and it's not like that's all we're going to talk about, but it was a big subject, and it was such an important topic that we really wanted to address it right away,
yeah,
and also we didn't, just let you know you're still free will and just the many
yes,
different ways you can get more and more intuition. So it's yeah, but go ahead and ask us any questions that you might
yes.
have. We're very happy to address that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to deep dive a lot of things and a lot of topics. So I'm excited, and yeah, it's just getting started. So
Yeah, yeah. And even like what's just coming to mind right now, I was going to say things you can look forward to, but there's even like how much of our life is dictated by our belief patterns and how we can change those, because a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So you can change those thoughts, and if you're having results in your life that you would like to have different, then that kind of points to, well, what do I believe? Why is this happening in my life? Like you could take two people and everything else is equal, and one is doing really well in various areas and the other is not, like even identical twins or whatever. So it's your own thought processes. So I think that would be an interesting one to dive into in the
Yes,
future,
yes.
and just how much of that, and because the more we can shine a light on these things, the more we can recognize that yeah, there's some really easy sort of life hacks, spiritual life hacks, to get to so you really are living the kind of life you wanted to live when you came.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Beautiful. And yeah, and don't forget to, like I think I said in the beginning, subscribe,
Yes.
um
Like and
like, share, comment, share your comments. We love to read them. We love to reply. And yeah, until the next one, we'll be most likely premiering these every Saturday at 7 p.m. So just stay tuned and hit that notification bell. And thank you, Alexandria. It was amazing.
well, thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
And thank you to my friend fishes for being a
Yes.
backdrop for me
Yes.
today.
They brought in
Letting
a lot of
me
energy,
energy.
beautiful energy. So it's awesome.
All right, have a beautiful day,
You
everybody.
too.
Big
Namaste.
love.
Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.